Welcome to Leaders of Tomorrow, India's only daily television platform for small businesses. We bring you the right information to empower you, the SME entrepreneur. Tonight on the show, we're bringing you highlights of a panel discussion that we did in Kochi. Do remember, the Leaders of Tomorrow team travels across 20 cities across the country to bring you face-to-face with experts in your sector. Tonight in Kochi, we're talking about industrialization, investment and infrastructure. Listen to some of the key highlights.
Kerala means literacy. Kerala means hardworking. Kerala means straightforwardness. What is the meaning of entrepreneurship? It is not known to the rural India. This is very, very important. Our villagers, though educated in colleges, but they are not getting the employment. In our constitution, right to employment is not guaranteed. Only to consider among other similarly placed candidates. So without giving guarantee to the employment, many literate graduates are suffering without employment. Now, what is the solution? We cannot go for very big corporate companies. The MSME is a real god for them. The Kerala is a real good role model for the whole of India. In fact, the Kerala is the manpower provider to the entire world. The MSME must be treated separately, not along with other corporate borrowers and debtors. The definition for NPA, non-performing asset, must be reworked. The credit facility must be provided to the entrepreneur depending upon his activities after assessing proper assessment, not depending upon the collateral.
Kochi contributes nearly 40% of Kerala's GDP, making it one of the fastest growing Tier 2 metros. My question to you, Professor, is what luck has this Tier 2 metro had in attracting Tier 1 talent?
I think that's a very important question to start with. So Kochi has many things going for it. So there is this fantastic infrastructure growth which has happened, which I'm sure we'll talk about more as we go along. There is incredible talent pool because of large number of high quality educational institutions, a large number of big sized PSUs, private companies. There are a number of supporting government schemes. And cost advantages. The cost of living in Kochi and the cost of doing business is considerably lower than metros. If you compare with other Tier 2 cities, Kochi's costs may not be very low, but given the infrastructure level in Kochi is comparable with the best in the country, it would only be fair to compare the cost with metros. And in that sense, Kochi has around 40 to 50% lower cost of doing business, of manpower, especially skilled manpower. Cost of living is lower. So these are the factors which keeps attracting people from all around the country to come and work in Kochi.
And Pradeep, I'd like your view here, as the founder of Farmers Fresh Zone. What sort of plus points came your way as you were growing your business within this city, and then what worked against you perhaps?
Okay, basically I'm running an agri-tech startup in Kochi. Basically I'm from Thrissur, and why I choose the Kochi as a starting point is that Kochi has that potential of premium customers, and they are educated, and they have a huge buying capacity compared to other portion of Kerala, and it's having for us we are selling some kind of healthy vegetables, fruits. So it's organic and safe to eat. So they are educated about what is the benefit of having that. And also we are able to, we are mainly started at Kakinada area. So why that Kakinada is that there's a focused or a cluster of people are there. So these are the things that we choose Kochi to start our business.
So you've met your target demographic in this city, essentially. Now, Sir mentioned a lot of the factors that have contributed to, Kochi's accelerated industrial growth. And if we were to look at a moment at some of the everyday amenities, be it access to fresh water supply, be it an elongated coastline, be it a transshipment terminal, they have contributed to Kochi's accelerated growth as well. But what I'd like to understand, and from you, Sajeev sir, is has this rapid industrialization truly created business value for the SME community?
So we do have a background of business consulting, and we do run a company by name Brahma, which is into business consulting into MSME space. So we have till now re-engineered and scaled up more than 340 companies in Kerala. With that experience, my view may be slightly different, because from an MSME perspective, maybe from an industrial perspective, Kochi may be the number one. But what my experience and what we come across on a day-to-day basis is that the northern part of Kerala is what is really creating real wealth in the MSME space. And if you look at, just for example, if you look at our client base, 80 to 85% of the client base come from the Malabar and the northern region. So I think some way or other in the MSME space, I'm not talking about the big corporates, in the MSME space, the real action is happening towards the northern part of Kerala. So how much of the industrial growth in Kerala, Cochin has helped the MSMEs out here? I don't have much say on that. But at the same time, I strongly believe that for certain sectors, yes, Cochin seems to be an exciting place like IT or maybe something which has specialty products and all those stuff. But overall, if you look at it, MSME, I'm talking about MSME space only. So I feel the real action is happening down there in the north part of Kerala.
Sure. And you mentioned a fascinating point about how progress varies across sectors. And if we were to look at some of the more traditional sectors, be it textiles, be it tourism, be it agri-tech, as Sir just mentioned, or Ayurveda, for example, all of these industries in Kochi seem to be experiencing tremendous economies of scale. And yet these same industries are contracting elsewhere. So what would you attribute that to, Prasad, if I were to ask you?
No, I will start with the Honourable Member of Parliament's one comment. He talked about Kerala, not only Kochi, Kerala being the source of manpower supply for the entire world. At the same time, Kerala have got people coming from all over India for working. So we are sourcing people from entire country, and we are also sourcing people to the entire world. So there is a paradigm, contradicting paradigm happening here. So we are supplying highly skilled people to the outside world, but we are forced to source people from all over India to Kerala. So I think this points to a fact that when you talk about industrialization, the kind of industrialization which you are pointing out may not be suitable for Kerala or Kochi. The kind of conventional industries like the fertilizers or oil or massive manufacturing sectors may not be suitable for Kochi. We need a total shift in focus to SMEs or MSMEs for Kerala to grow. So that is a point which I want to start with. But your point is that Kochi is attracting growth and other parts are contracting. So I not fully agree with that. I agree with Sanjeev's point, because we are running an incubator, hardware incubator, which is the largest in the country, with 65 companies. Around 75% are coming from Malabar. So Kochi being a center of a coordinating mechanism, Kochi provides a coordinating infrastructure for companies to come and start, but most of the entrepreneurs are coming from the North Malabar. So maybe an offshoot of most of the people who start working here, Kochi may be showing some progress, but ultimately I think Kochi or the places around Kochi is not the driver for the accelerated growth which Kerala is going to happen. I think it is going to be driven by people from the northern part of Kerala.
And Professor, would you agree with Prasad's point of view there? in that, you know, these two growth engines are fairly independent and working in isolation?
So I have a different experience compared to what Mr. Prasad and Mr. Sanjeev said. So in IIM, we have our own incubator, which is fairly new. But in our case, most of the companies that we are incubating are from Kochi. So, so there is a mixed experience, I'm sure. Our IIM campus is located in Malabar region, but we are incubating companies in Kochi. So, there is a bit of, give and take, I suppose. So I think, Kochi has a terrific ecosystem. So while certainly Kerala is known as an urban continuum, so wherever you go, there is urbanization, so there will be economic opportunities, there will be entrepreneurs, there will be growth. But then you need a place where there is a cluster, where there are several companies who are feeding off each other in terms of large companies providing demand for ancillary services, which is what MSMEs are supposed to provide. So that can only happen in a place like Kochi, where there is an integrated ecosystem of infrastructure, government policy, manpower, commercial and real estate space, reliable power, electricity, infrastructure, the largest airport in India in terms of international passenger volume, large ports, railways. So all this coming together is only happening in Kochi. It's not happening in other parts of Kerala. So which is why I still think that it is Kochi which is going to drive the MSME growth in Kerala and certainly in the southern region, if not India.
Time for a break here on the show. On the other side, we'll continue bringing you the highlights from Kochi, talking about industrialization, investment in infrastructure for SMEs. Just stay tuned. Welcome back. You're with us here on Leaders of Tomorrow, and tonight we're in Kochi talking about investment, industrialization and investment for SMEs. What did our panel of experts have to tell the SME audience that had gathered there? Listen in to some of the highlights.
How would you describe Kochi's startup ecosystem to an outsider looking in?
Yeah. Compared to other places, I think Kochi and Trivandrum has the most potential startup ecosystem provided by or led by the government. In Cochin, we have Startup Mission, that is Kalamasheri, and also Maker Village, and also NASCOM incubation. So basically, when a startup is about to start, that may not be fully funded, that startup. They have to bootstrap from their own pocket. So in that scenario, if I am starting my business in Thrissur area, I have to make a place to sit. I have to give the rent and electricity and net facility also not good in our place. So these are all the parameters that we measure when we start a business from a bootstrap manner. So while it's coming to Cochin, when we started, we have the NASCOM ecosystem. So they provided all these at cheap price and a reliable quality of internet and also mentoring support. So compared to other portion, I'm not well familiar with the Trivandrum, how the ecosystem provides, and I think they're also having some good support. So compared to that, Kochi has this kind of infrastructure support and connectivity to other people. And also Kochi attracts more resources as well. If our company is like Bangalore, if someone is saying that my company is headquartered in Bangalore, people are saying, wow. If somebody is saying my company is headquartered in Kochi, then say, wow. And if I'm saying that my company is at Thrissur, wow. So that's that scenario. So in that case, Kochi has more potential compared to other in the case of startup.
Well, even in my short time here in Kochi, one can't help but notice all of the industrial parks and campuses that are mushrooming across this city, right? Between Cyber City, Smart City, Kochi, Special Economic Zone, etc. So my question to you, Sanjeev, is it favorable government policy that is really accelerating Kochi's growth like none other?
I think government policies always in the state, I never seen any much of challenge when it comes to government policies. But most of the time the policies are not known to people. Because what I have seen is here the media, which is actually has got the responsibility to take the policies and kind of create an enthusiasm and inspiration among especially the startups. What is this ecosystem we are talking about? When we, this word is being used very, very much in the entrepreneurial sector. I think the ecosystem comprises of the entire environment, which requires especially for a startup like Prasad, he requires mentorship, he requires inspiration, continuous inspiration, because when he is down, somebody has to really pull him up. He needs funds. It is not the plug and play facilities. It is not just a few infrastructural advantages you provide. That's not ecosystem. I don't think that's ecosystem. We have to rename it as infrastructure. We have a better infrastructure. But ecosystem is a conducive environment which you have to create, in which I strongly believe, because this state is completely ruled by media, not by government. So media, yes, media, if they believe, if they want, they can actually turn it up or turn it down. So the media has to understand that, the youngsters are looking for entrepreneurship. They wanted to really come up. So like what you are doing now, ET now, I think more media should come up with this kind of programs where real inspiration can be given. That will be the best ecosystem, number one. Number two is the funding. Because as far as venture capital, because we work with venture capitals to raise funds for our clients. So as far as venture capitals or private equities, Kerala is not there in the picture. It's primarily because they are seeing Kerala from the media, through the media. And they are seeing a different picture about Kerala. They are not seeing Prasad, or they are not seeing that kind of enthused youngsters. So this has to be really propelled so that we can attract, the structured funding agencies into the state. Because when I was reading today's newspaper, when I saw $27 billion worth of VC funding happened the last 10 months in India. And I was counting how much has come to Kerala. I have never seen any kind of funding happening in the last 10 months, substantial funding I'm talking about. So I think that is where we need to really work on. That is what we call it as an ecosystem, as far as I am concerned.
No, I think that's brilliantly put, and that leads me to my next question, which I pose to you, Prasad. What are the resources available at the SME's disposal? We've mentioned that they need access to capital. They need access to mentorship. They may need guidance on their business model. They need to know who to partner with, building out their management team. Who is there to help and how?
I admit the point that we were lacking in all these aspects so far. But having said this, last couple of years, last 2 to 3 years, we are seeing significant progress on all these fronts. Because Professor and Pradeep was telling about Kochi attracting talent and all those things. That's true. I also partially agree with that. But there is focused strategic intervention from the administration on that part to bring all these ecosystem elements to Kochi. So that is resulting now very slow, trickling down effect, but very slow, but a movement from other ecosystems to Kochi. I have seen out of the 65 companies, around 10 companies are from outside. They have relocated from Bangalore, Pune, Hyderabad, like that. About 5 years ago, you cannot imagine a person coming from Bangalore to Kochi, relocating from Bangalore to Kochi, or Pune to Kochi, or Hyderabad, Kochi. But that is started happening. So I think things are falling in place, but not at the rate which we want. But if you really push forward, as Sajeev was telling, if you focus our efforts, not only the administration, not only the general public, but also media, and all these ecosystem partners, if you have got some strategic, focused effort, I think we can turn around things in the near future.
Well, let's talk about the near future, because this is an election year. So what are the implications of this election for the SME sector? And Professor, I'd like to start with you.
So understandably, in an election year, government attention will move towards MSME sector, because we all know that MSME sector is the largest employer after agriculture and contributes more than 40% in terms of exports, in terms of manufacturing output. So we do expect some fiscal benefits, financial incentives, export incentives to MSME sector, both from central government and state government over the next few months. So while that is going to be on expected lines, I think the government should also take cognizance of non-fiscal or non-financial challenges which MSME sector faces. So for instance, Sanjeev mentioned earlier that there are government policies, but people don't know about it. So interestingly, Niti Aayog had conducted an enterprise survey where Kerala did very poorly on ease of doing business on a couple of points. So one was about information flow from the government policies to the entrepreneurs. So that was actually flagged by Niti Aayog. And the second was in terms of number of days it takes to start a business. So the number of days it takes to start a business in Kerala is 214 days, whereas the all India average is 118. So these are issues which the government needs to work on. Secondly, we talk of ease of doing business, but there's also ease of market access. So in a survey that we at IIM had conducted among MSME owners in Kochi some time back, so one of the problems that was flagged by business owners was we are not able to access new markets for exports. We don't have the exposure, we are not able to promote our products. So probably the government needs to provide market development assistance to help MSME sector explore new geographies to promote and sell their products. So along with the usual fiscal and financial benefits, I hope that in an election year, as government attention moves towards MSME, these challenges of doing business would also be addressed.
Sanjeev, in the SME community, do you think the issue is limited to a lack of awareness, or is there also a lack of trust and transparency in the system and in the government policies that are designed specifically to benefit them?
Let me connect with your previous question. As an entrepreneur from an election, I would rather love to have any government which has got an absolute majority. As a business consultant, if I given a chance to become a strategist or strategic advisor to one of those parties, I would have told them that only focus on entrepreneurship. Because 55% of the population of this country is below the age of 30. And these guys, they want to do something of their own. They don't want to work anymore. They're all looking for, startup opportunities. And if someone who is sitting there has got the brains, they can actually come out with phenomenal policies which can actually appease this entire young population, and they can grab the votes. Because most of this young population I know, including my son, they're not that much political. They have an objective in life. Right. Okay? And if you can tap that objective, you're done. So I think, this coming election, at least some of them will have some brains to understand this and create their entire strategy and the policy documents and the election manifesto, which is focused towards entrepreneurship and towards youngsters to start and operate their business. That's what I feel.
All right, that's our show tonight. If you have any feedback for us, as always, we love hearing from you, our viewers. Here's how you get in touch. leadersoftomorrow@timesgroup.com is our email ID. On social media, tweet at me personally at Sunanda_J or LOT_ET Now, which is our official Twitter handle. Reach us on Facebook. Leaders of Tomorrow and ET Now is our Facebook page. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.